So scientists, some, are sounding the alarm on a so-called solar superstorm.
Get ready for a cosmic confrontation as NASA alerts us to an impending massive solar storm headed straight for Earth. The space agency's latest warning has scientists and researchers on high alert, preparing for the potentially devastating impact of a solar storm of epic proportions. With the power of the solar storm predicted to be like none other ever experienced in the history of mankind, it seems impossible to fathom the threat it poses. Hence, we can only ask, is this it for Mother Earth? Or could Earth withstand what's coming like it has always done? Let's find out together. Our gaze has been drawn to the cosmos throughout the decades, captivating us with awe and curiosity as we explore the vast expanses and everything contained within. While we have been able to learn so much that surrounds us and our planet Earth, many details still remain elusive. In truth, it's one of those gradual paths to learning and evolution of man. So we have learnt to exercise patience as we study. However, when the mysteries of the cosmos begin to pose a threat to our very existence and well-being, it transforms into a pressing concern. This is where NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, steps in. NASA, consisting of a team that has relentlessly pushed the boundaries of human knowledge, has been our eyes, ears, and brains pertaining to all that has to do with space. Thanks to their various satellites, telescopes, and other sophisticated gadgets, we've been able to stay informed on any impending danger to Earth. However, their latest announcement doesn't seem to be really encouraging. In what appears to be a warning, they predicted that Earth will be hit by a massive solar storm anytime soon, stating the need for everyone to be prepared for what's to come. As expected, this announcement generated quite a lot of mixed reactions amongst people around the world. Some were in doubt, while others heeded and prepared for the solar storm to come. However, what do you make of it? If there's one thing we know, it is that NASA's prediction of cosmic events over the years has been nothing short of extraordinary. With a track record that stretches decades, their ability to foresee celestial occurrences has reached an unparalleled level of precision. So we can rest assured that the rate of this one happening is around 95%. NASA could predict the coming solar storm after 2 solar flares hit Earth. The solar flares, which were oddly powerful, were meant to pose as a precursor for the impending massive solar storm that was to come following the solar cycle. That said, the theory wasn't baseless. What skeptics have failed to realize is that, over the years, the Earth has developed a coping mechanism that can withstand several attacks from space. What they assumed to not be real had, in fact, happened but with minimal damage, thanks to Mother Earth's resilience and preparations from NASA. However, what do we make of a potential threat from the largest star in our solar system? The Sun? No doubt. The Sun has been there from the beginning, showering Earth with several invaluable gifts. From the comforting warmth it provides to its crucial role in sustaining life through the miracle of photosynthesis, these benefits have all helped ensure life's sustenance. It even gets better. Apparently, thanks to our advancement in technology, we can now harness the energy of the Sun using solar panels to produce electricity. This technological leap enhances our energy capabilities and positions the Sun as a pivotal player in our modern lives, confirming its significance as a prominent source of green energy. As beneficial as the Sun is, it's only fair to wonder how the star came to be in the first place. For starters, you should know that the Sun is a star we classify as a G-type main sequence star. Due to its temperature, color, and stage in its life cycle, astronomers and scientists also refer to it as a yellow dwarf. If we consider the Sun's life cycle, we'd learn that it began its journey somewhat around 4.6 billion years ago from a dense region within a molecular cloud. According to Nebular's theory, not just the Sun, but every planet in the solar system started off as a giant cloud of molecular gas and dust. The collapse of the said cloud brought about all we see today in our solar system. As shocking as that sounds, scientists can't really pinpoint what brought about the collapse. Some believe it to be a result of a passing star, while others think of a shockwave from a supernova. Whichever it is, astronomers assert that the gravitational collapse at the cloud's center set the stage for the genesis of life as we know it. In its entirety, the explanation of the phenomenon is pretty complex. After the collapse of the cloud, it's said that pockets of dust and gas started to gather in denser regions. As the process continued, the conservation of momentum caused the pockets to start rotating, and increasing pressure led to higher heat. Eventually, the material ended up in a ball at the center, while the rest of the matter got straightened out to form a disk. The said ball is what evolved over billions of years to become the star that we know it to be today, a fiery cauldron where hydrogen atoms fuse to form helium, dissipating energy all across space. One might wonder how it is that something responsible for the birth of life is what's suddenly threatening the very existence of life at the moment. Well, to comprehend all the forces at play, you simply have to understand the binding forces surrounding the sun. It's not like the sun literally decided a certain day and said, "Let me send a solar storm down to Earth, and have the Earthlings scour for safety." No, not at all. It's far from that. Instead, envision the sun's erratic behavior due to the challenges in efficiently managing its boundless energy. That said, it's not a deliberate act, but rather a manifestation of the complex dance between the sun's vast energy reservoir and the delicate control mechanisms at play. Talking about delicate binding forces at play, it turns out that the sun harbors a deep secret within its core. As majestic as it stands in the middle of our solar system, it possesses an unstable magnetic field. The instability of this magnetic field is what gives rise to solar flares, coronal mass ejections, and the impending solar storm on our cosmic horizon. And so it's evident that the sun's reactions aren't as simple as many thought it to be. Now, the question arises, are these recent occurrences isolated, or are additional factors conspiring to usher in a colossal solar storm? We get to find out as we advance in this video. Is this Earth's first solar storm? Are there other factors at play we should consider? If you tend to keep track of scientific journals, you must have learnt that this is not Earth's first solar storm. There have been several solar storms in the past, but none really made headlines compared to the Carrington event in 1859. Named after the British astronomer Richard Carrington, this event brought about a colossal solar storm that unleashed a breathtaking display of auroras that could be seen as far as the equatorial latitudes. However, don't be carried away by the term breathtaking, as the solar storm of the Carrington event literally snuffed the breath out of people. One of the few who weren't lucky was Frederick W. Roy. Being a telegrapher for the American Telegraph Company in Boston, Roy found himself at the epicenter of the drama unfolding that year. Earth had experienced solar storms in the past, but they weren't as catastrophic as those that occurred during the Carrington event because of the invention of sophisticated communication systems like telegraphs. Because of that, nobody really saw what was coming. In the course of the storm, the intense geomagnetic activity induced powerful electrical currents in telegraph lines that were causing sparks and several disruptions. As a result, a lot of telegraph operators received electrical shocks, but not as fatal as Roy's. It was said that while the man was trying to document the entire thing, he got severely shocked as his forehead grazed a ground wire. According to someone who saw him electrocuted, an arc of fire jumped from Roy's head to the telegraphic equipment right before he kicked the bucket. What's more, all telegraph lines were down until the storm passed, depicting the severity and magnitude of the storm. Even with the power and magnitude of destruction of the solar storm from the Carrington event, if there's one thing we learned, it's that the event might not necessarily be the biggest solar storm that Earth has ever experienced. Apparently, thanks to the study of ancient trees in the French Alps landscapes, scientists have confirmed the theory. How is this possible, you might ask? Well, scientists were able to learn of the correlation between past solar storms by studying the inner rings of the trees. Upon careful study, they detected signs of a huge spike in radiocarbon in the rings of the trees. This is how they were able to predict that the biggest solar storm in history must have occurred 14,300 years ago. when Earth was probably in its initial phase of shaking off the ice age. For a solar storm capable of ejecting so many solar particles to generate a ridiculous amount of radiocarbon like that seen in the tissue of trees in the Alps, let's just say our current electronically concentrated world wouldn't have stood a chance. We are talking about nationwide blackouts, disrupted communication systems, intense radiation, and so many more. It's safe to say that the storm would have rendered us completely incapacitated. And this takes us back to the solar storm announced by NASA. Can we liken the past solar storms to that which we are to expect, or is it bound to be milder? Prepare yourselves. What can we expect from the massive solar storm coming? The problem with the solar storm we expect is that the Earth's magnetic field has weakened over the millennia. It so happens that this field has long been serving as a shield that guides us from solar winds that carry solar particles. What does this mean? As the magnetic field continues to falter, the risk of solar storms intensifies. Now imagine a storm as massive as that predicted by NASA. Already, we got to experience the Cannibal Coronal mass ejection that occurred on November 30th, 2023. Even though it didn't necessarily bring the doomsday kind of solar storm, the exchange between Earth and the Sun is far from over. According to NASA, we are currently in a new solar cycle, and it's about to peak by July 2025. What does this mean? Well, it means we are going to be seeing quite a lot of solar storms and solar flares as the years go by. And so it's truly one of those times to brace yourself. It's true we can't necessarily control the forces of nature, but we can prepare. How do you do that? For one, you must always pay attention to the news. In times of an impending storm, make sure to stay away from any kind of electrical appliance, and try to stay indoors to avoid being exposed to radiation. You and your loved ones should do just fine with all that handled. Stay tuned for the cosmic revelations ahead by subscribing and liking this video. We'd also like to hear what you think about the solar storm coming in the comments section. Till next time, stay safe out there.